You've heard it before, running will wreck your knees, especially after 50. But is this really true? The real deal is that running doesn't really trash your knees. Weak muscles and instability do. The good news is that you can fix it. In this video, we're going to do 5 exercises that are going to strengthen your knees, reduce your injury risk, and have you running well into your 50s, 60s, and beyond. And to make it even better, I've got my dad here to demo the exercises. He's in his 70s and he's proof that you can still run fast in your 70s. In fact, he's still running the same time for a half marathon that he ran 8 years ago. Stick around right to the end where we'll show you an exercise that's been a real hidden gem for my father. It'll help protect your knees and help you run faster. The first exercise is called the clock. Now, we've spoken about how knee pain can be caused by having weak muscles and instability, and this is a great exercise to address both. Now, as you get older, the instability and strength become a bigger problem, which lead to overuse injuries. Imagine having a weak base. Now, that'll be your glutes and your hips. If you've got a weak base, when you land on the ground, you are going to have wobbly knees. They're going to shake, and it's that instability while your foot is in contact with the ground that leads to most of the overuse injuries that you've got. This exercise will take care of that. Right, Dad, so the first exercise is called the clock. I want you to put all your weight on your right leg, evenly distributing the weight, and a soft knee. So that means a slightly bent knee, because that'll help you with your stability. Okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to step forward to 12 o'clock. You know you've stepped too far if you start to feel like you need to lean forward. What we want is you to keep this leg really stable, and that's the element that's going to work on the stability and strengthen your glutes. Then you'll bring it back to the center and you'll step out to the side. You don't want to be leaning over. You want to keep all your weight over your foot. You bring it back to the center, and then you take a step backwards and you move back to the center. Right, so if I can get you to do that another 2 to 3 times, Dad. So foot forward, that's it, and back, foot out to the side, and back, foot back, that's it. Right, so my dad's doing it quite well. He's avoiding bending over to the side, so step forward for me and back and to the side, and the mistake will be if you've stepped out too far and you can't hold your balance, you'll have to counterbalance with your upper body. So you want to keep that nice and straight and step back. Now, right at the beginning, if you are struggling to do this exercise, you can relax, Dad. You can actually do it holding on to a wall with your hand close to a wall, so that if you lose your balance, you can quickly regain your balance. And the idea will be to get to a point where you can do this exercise without using anything to balance. Now that will take care of the stability and the very basic strength component. As we said, it's strength and stability. So to add the strength to this, we're going to add a stretch cord. Little stretch band that you'll pop around your knees. Okay, that's it. Now this is going to up the ante a little bit, so let's see how my dad does. Right, all your weight on your right leg, slightly bent knee, step out, that's it, and back. Now remember, there's a slight leaning over, that's a good catch, and back, perfect. And you only step as far as your current strength and stability will allow, and you slowly work on moving your foot further out, further to the side and back. Demonstrated on the right leg. Remember, it's important to always do the same on the left and the right. The important question is how many. We like to start with 3 to 6 reps on each side, as long as your form is right. And once you can get to 3 to 6 reps with your form correct, you can add the band, repeat that process, and then obviously increase either the strength of the band or the number of reps. One thing that I didn't emphasize, which is so important at Coach Parry, is that you really want to focus on form. Doing the exercises correctly is much more important than doing more resistance or doing more repetition. And speaking of form, this next exercise is an excellent exercise to make sure that you have good running form to protect your knees, but especially to get you some speed. The next one is an exercise that we like to call Pogos. Now, Pogos are an excellent entry-level form of plyometrics. Plyometrics are important because they help to prepare your body for the eccentric nature of running. What that means is that when you are running and hit the ground, your muscles contract while they are lengthening. That is an eccentric contraction, and it is more damaging than concentric contractions, which are the contractions we make when we physically move the body. Now, eccentric contractions are very important for protecting your joints, and in this case, we are talking about the knees. So Pogos are a classic exercise to help protect your knees, improve running form, and have you running faster in no time. Okay, now because plyometric exercises do have an eccentric component, we need to build these up in a stepwise fashion and make sure we do them properly. So typically you'd want to start doing these holding onto a countertop or onto the wall. For today's demonstration, my dad is going to hold onto me. Okay, Dad, so give me your hands. Now, the idea with this exercise is you want to keep your upper body nice and straight, lean slightly forward, move your weight onto the ball of your foot and your toes. Kind of lock your knees in, but you don't want to have them locked backwards. So we just want to keep the knees locked, and then you're going to hop in place. So let me show one to you, and then you're going to repeat it. So we're leaning forward, and then just bouncing. And you're using your ankles as a spring. Right, so lean forward and hop. That's it, and relax. Now you can see that there is a little bit of braking in the knees, and that's okay. The point of this exercise is for your lower leg to act as a spring, but as you repeat this exercise, you'll get stronger, be able to lock those knees better, and literally just have your ankles acting like a pogo stick, which is where the name comes from. Okay, repeat a couple more. That's it, and relax. Okay, and as with all exercises, we have some progressions that we can do. So the first progression is that we'll want to move away from doing support. So without the support, you'll just pop your hands on your hips because it'll help you with your balance. You lean slightly forward and you hop on the spot. And of course, when we run, we're not jumping on both feet. So at the beginning, it's important to be landing on both feet because you want to provide your body with the strength and stability. As you progress, you want to try and move this exercise to jumping on one foot. So we can go back to providing ourselves support on a countertop, and ultimately we will end up doing pogo jumps on one leg and then the other. Now the aim with pogos is eventually to jump as quickly as you can and as high as you can. And once you've mastered the pogo, you're going to be a better runner. The next exercise is a classic because it really helps us to work on control, balance, and strength. It's a reverse isometric lunge. Now this is an excellent exercise for an older runner because you can do it slowly. You can make sure that you're using the right technique, and it's awesome for strengthening glutes, hamstrings, and quads, which happen to be all the exercises that we need to really help the knee be stable in the stance phase of running. So this is an exercise you can hardly do without. Now, Dad, this is not one of your favorites. You prefer doing a split squat or a forward lunge. So let's get to it and show people why this is such a classic exercise. So you're going to be standing side on. Stand on your stronger leg to begin with, and then you're going to take a step back, hold that position. And now what's important with this lunge is that we try and keep our back nice and straight, and we want to go down in a straight line and only as far as we can. That's it. Hold that position because we want to keep the knee behind the toe, and we want to be able to keep our balance. You're going to hold that for a slow count of 20 and then come back up. Right. Put your feet back together. Other leg goes back. That's it. And we go down. Right. And now we can start to see some imbalances from left to right, because that was a much bigger step back, and my dad is managing to hold a much more stable pose, and up we go. It's a great idea to do exercises like this in the mirror, because when we are doing them, we can't really feel where our body is in space. And the key drivers of this exercise, just to highlight them again, we want to take as big a step back as we comfortably can. We want to go down in a straight line and keep our upper bodies as straight as we can. Hold that position, and this is where the control comes in. We're now strengthening the right glute, the right quad, the right hamstring, and the left quad. It's just a really, really good exercise. I'm not going to talk through progressions because most of those are very dynamic, and they are generally exercises that are beyond most 60 to 70-year-olds. But if you keep doing the exercises we show you today, you can progress to doing things like dynamic reverse lunges and even jumping lunges. So because reverse lunges are quite tough, what we want you to do is to try 2 to 3 reps on each side and really build this exercise up over time. Now, although I said hold that pose for 30 seconds, what's more important is that you exercise proper control during the exercise. So I want you to hold it for as long as you can without starting to break down your basic movements, which is a nice straight back and keeping your knees nice and still and the knee not going over the front of your toe. Now, speaking of control, it's a common misconception that it's the impact of running that causes the injuries, when in reality what it is it's the knee or any other joint being in a compromised position due to a lack of stability and proprioception when you hit the ground that actually causes the injury. Now, exercises like the clock and the reverse lunge are brilliant for helping older athletes to get back some of that proprioception that we naturally lose as we are getting older. Now, as a side note, I'm going to be hosting a free masterclass for runners over 50 that's going to help you recover better, run faster, and remain injury-free for years to come. If you'd like to book your seat in that class, click on the QR code now or click on the link below. Now, let's move on to the next exercise that will target the back of the legs and in particular the hamstrings, which are a muscle that runners notoriously ignore and part of the reason why we have instability issues as we get older. Now, the hamstrings and the glutes to a certain extent play an extremely important role in driving us up hills. So if you've got stronger hamstrings, you're going to tackle the hills much better, you're going to feel much better when you're going uphill, and your glutes are going to tire much more slowly, which again is going to protect your knees because then the glutes can do the work they're supposed to do, which is keeping your femur in a nice straight line when your foot is in contact with the ground. So now, Dad, I'm going to have you lying down on the ground in front of me. Okay, as with all the exercises, control is paramount here. So we want to do these movements slowly and really make sure that we're doing them properly, teaching our body the proper control. Okay, Dad, I'm going to ask you to lift your bum off the ground as high up as you can. Now, when you start this exercise, you can use your arms both to help you a little bit to get a bit higher and to help you with that stability. But as time goes by, the aim is to fold your arms and keep them up on your chest so that you really do cause an instability in the hips. Okay, Dad, you can leave your arms at the side for now. Right, once you can hold a strong position, the next step is to do the walkout. So Dad, I'm going to ask you to take your right leg and take a small step forward and put your weight on that leg. Now we are targeting the hamstring. Now you're going to unweight your leg and move that across the left leg forward. That's it. Right. You will feel a shift from the glutes into the hamstring at this point. Now you're going to bring your right leg back. Hold that position, followed by the left leg, and then you're going to go down. Okay, that'll be one. Now at the start, you're going to do 4 to 6 of this exercise. But the important thing is that we want to keep the hips stable. We are forcing the hamstring to do the work and making the glutes ensure that we hold those hips at a nice 90-degree angle and nice and square, because that's going to give you the control when you're running. Once again, the control is going to be what's going to protect your knees. And as your hamstrings get stronger, you're going to be able to tackle those hills much better. And now let's move on to the exercise that's been a real hidden gem for my dad, step downs. Step downs are a fantastic exercise for athletes that are over 50 years old. We spoke earlier about the need to strengthen the eccentric components of our movement, and this is a classic eccentric exercise without the added impact. So you can strengthen your quads and glutes eccentrically so that they can get strong to do the job of acting as shock absorbers during the running phase without the actual impact. And that's why this is one of the best exercises and the one that's probably helped my father the most to maintain that speed over the half marathon for the last 8 years. So Dad, let's show them how you do it. What's important is that because this is both an eccentric and a stability exercise, is that when you start it out, you want to be able to have something close at hand that you can grab hold of in case you lose your balance. And as you grow in confidence, you can move that hand away, but you'll always have the security of being able to catch yourself if you lose your balance. Now, the idea here is that we want to do slow movements. Part of the eccentric strengthening is going to come from the slowness of the movement and forcing your muscles to control your body weight as you go down towards the floor. Start on a pretty low step. So that is why we are using a treadmill here, because it's got a really low step. And as you get better, you can move up to a traditional step and one day perhaps end up on a bench. But let's demonstrate the basic one here. Take a slow step down, controlling your body movement, keeping your upper body nice and straight, and back up. And that is excellent. So that's the exact movement we want to do. We're going to do 6 to 8 on each side. At the start, you can alternate exactly like my dad did. As you get stronger and get more control, you can do 8 to 12 reps on each side, and that will really help you to get strong and stable. It'll decrease your risk of getting injured. It'll make you stronger while you run, and that'll lead to you being able to run faster and run longer into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. But what's really important is that running is not only about strength and stability. It's also about having the mobility and range of motion. So watch the next video so that you can learn a classic mobility flow that's really going to help you to move your body better, to be more supple, to have a greater range of motion, and to be able to tap into the strength gains and stability gains that you get from this video.